Welcome to Tabernacle Talk. Tabernacle Talk is a Bible study podcast brought from Tabernacle Baptist Church in Essex, Maryland. I'm your host, Brian Self. We hope this podcast encourages you to know Christ, grow in His Word, and show His love to others. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to a new week of Tabernacle Talk. We are in the Old Testament book of Malachi, the prophet, and we are in Malachi chapter 3, verse 13, through chapter 4 and verse number 6 today. Malachi 3:13 through chapter 4 and verse number 6. Malachi is a prophet. He preaches during the time after the Babylonian exile has ended. Israel's back in the land, but even though they went through the exile, they didn't learn anything from it. They are still continuing to not worship and follow God in the way that they should be. God brings against them some charges, some things that they have done and have said that are not right. Israel objects to it, says, no, like, how did we do that? When did we do that? And then God gives the explanation, no, this is exactly how and when and why you did this, and here is my response to your evil. And Malachi, as he's preaching through this, could not have been easy preaching. Right now, as I am about 2,400, 2,500 years removed from this time period, it's relatively easy for me to tell you guys about it because this isn't a direct denunciation of any of you or of myself. But for Malachi, this was, you guys are actively right now sinning in these ways, and it's wrong, and you need to stop. And can you imagine giving that message to people, like to the priests of that day, preaching against them and saying, you are so wicked. God himself says that he is going to come and refine you so that there is no longer a wicked priesthood, but instead a holy priesthood, like there was intended to be. You all are robbing God of what is rightfully his. Like, as I think about saying that as a pastor, man, I get nervous, and I'm certain that I need to even grow in some boldness to be able to speak directly to people about, hey, here's this sin, but I love the boldness of Malachi, and that's something that I want to adopt in my life. Again, not just like a random boldness, but a boldness to say what God has said, to prophesy, to speak forth the words of the Lord. All right, Malachi chapter 3, verse number 13. Here's the next charge that God brings against Israel during this time period. Your words against me are harsh, says Yahweh. Yet you ask, what have we spoken against you? God says, you have said it is useless to serve God. What have we gained by keeping his requirements and walking mournfully before Yahweh of heaven's armies? So now we consider the arrogant to be fortunate. Not only do those who commit wickedness prosper, they even test God and escape. So people during that time period were saying, oh, well, we just don't enjoy life as much working by God's way of doing things. And instead, these people that are evil, they get away with everything. And so it's useless to serve God. I'll tell you guys this. Straight up, it is not useless to serve God. And we don't always get immediate results back. We don't always get the most fortunate of circumstances as a result of following the Lord. But we are running up a check. Every time we serve the Lord, every time we follow him, every time we act in faith, we are running up a check that God will pay the bill one day. He will reward us for the good that we have done. That's the uniform testimony of Scripture and especially the New Testament prophets. There is a reward coming for the people of God who will not quit, who won't turn their back on the Lord, but who will continue faithfully to follow him. There is reward that is coming. It is not useless to serve God. Okay, verse number 16. At that time, while others were saying it's useless to serve God, those who feared Yahweh spoke to one another. That's the ones that they worship him, they follow him. That's the kind of fear that it's talking about. Yahweh took notice and listened. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who feared Yahweh and had high regard for his name. So God wrote down the names of those that obeyed him, followed him, and that respected his name, his authority, the things that he said. Verse 17, they will be mine, says Yahweh of heaven's armies, my own possession on the day I am preparing. I will have compassion on them, as a man has compassion on his son who serves him. So you will again see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, between one who serves God and one who does not serve him. God has compassion planned for those that fear him, that listen to him, that obey him. I can't wait. I love when I'm around a person that can plan things out really well, like they can plan a great vacation. My pastor back in Washington, Dennis Fountain, like he could plan a great staff retreat, and we would do fun stuff. We would eat good food. We would play awesome games. We would spend good time in planning out the next year's calendar. He could plan some good stuff. And so I knew if I was going on a trip or something with him or a staff retreat with him, it was going to be a good thing because he was a good planner. The Lord is the best planner. And so I can't wait to see what his compassion, his plans look like for my eternity. Here's a cool thought that just came to me. There's never going to be any part in eternity where God goes, oh, sorry, I don't really have like anything planned for right now. I don't have anything that you can do today. So I guess just, hang 10. No. Our eternally wise, our eternally generous God has good and grace and joy and compassion, wonderful things planned for us. You can think of what Paul says in his letter to the Corinthians. Eye hasn't seen, ear hasn't heard, nor has entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for those that love him. I think that's so cool, and I can't wait to see when we get to be with the Lord what he has planned for your eternity and for my eternity, that every day after the next. C.S. Lewis would write it this way in the last book of the Chronicles of Narnia series, The Last Battle. He says, every day is better than the last. There's never going to be a day with the Lord where we go, oh yeah, like it used to be nicer to be around God 1,000 years ago or 2 million years ago. It was more fun then. It was better then than it is today. No, every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before, as the hymn says. I love that thought. That makes me want to glorify God. That makes me want to serve him. That makes me want to obey him. And if he's got good plans for me, I want to center my plans in my life around serving and obeying him. All right, so God's talking about this day that is coming. It's a day that he's planning compassion on those that fear him and have high regard for his name, those that serve him. He's planning good things for them. But chapter 4, verse 1, for look, the day is coming, burning like a furnace. Okay, this burning like a furnace, this is not intended to be like torture chamber. That's not the kind of furnace you should be thinking. It's the refiner's fire. It's the thing God mentioned, I think it was last episode, might be 2 episodes ago, where it purifies silver and gold so that all that is left is the pure and the good. And the old, the dross, the impurities, they are all taken away so that there is only good that is left. He says, the day is coming, burning like a furnace, when all the arrogant and everyone who commits wickedness will become stubble. This is a common phrase that is used in the major and minor prophets, and then in the New Testament to talk about the purification of God's world. That Daniel 7, God's talked about as having a cape like fire that extends down. It comes down from the throne and becomes a river of fire. that then pools into a lake of fire when you read Revelation. Like John the Apostle picks up on that picture from Daniel 7 and then is like, okay, well, if all that fire is going into a river, that river's got to end somewhere. And so it pools into a lake. And so this was a common phrase that was used to describe purification, holiness, that everything evil, everything unjust, everything wicked, everything wrong with our world is all done away with. And it's purified not just by like some outside fire, but it's actually purified by God's own presence. God's own presence is what, if you will, devours evil. Like evil just can't hang around God's presence. I think we talked about this actually at length in Leviticus. You can think the illustration that I used, I don't know if it's a good illustration, but it's the one I used, is radioactive things. That unless you've got that protective suit on, if you're around something that's crazy radioactive, like you're going to get sick, you're going to die if you are around it. If you've got the suit, you're totally fine and you can work with it. You can, I don't know all what good things are made from radiation, other than a microwave, microwave radiation. But in God's presence, those that are clothed with the holiness of Christ, they are going to be totally fine in God's presence. Like that's why Jesus died for us, so that we could enter back into that relationship that God created us for, and we would not be destroyed as a result of our sin, but that we could be with him. But for those that have rejected Christ, those that remain in their sin and evil, they are destroyed from the presence of the Lord, is how Paul says it in 2 Thessalonians 1. That God's own presence is the purifying effect. It is what causes here in this verse all the arrogant and everyone who commits wickedness to become stubble. He says, the coming day will consume them, says Yahweh of heaven's armies, not leaving them root or branches. There is not, he's talking about stubble, root, branches. They're a tree. They're a tree that does not survive. It's burnt entirely. There's nothing left of that tree. He says, but for you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings, and you will go out and playfully jump like calves from the stall. There is joy coming in the kingdom. There is healing that is coming in the kingdom. To our dark world, the Son of Righteousness, he has risen and he will come again and shine on our dark world. Man, I love just these pictures are so rich. I gotta tell you guys, I'm stoked. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that God would do this, not as a result of our goodness, but as a result of his own goodness. And that everyone that turns to him in faith will find that he is a good God. He is a God who is righteous. He's just. He is perfect, and he makes good decisions in every way. He is the God who heals. He is the God who sparks joy in us. I love that picture there. Playfully jump like calves from the stall. Just as excited as a little calf that he's not hindered anymore by by the stall that he's in. He can just be totally free. That's the future that is waiting for you and I, is that we are free within the kingdom of our God in the world that we ruined, and he fixed it. I love it. We serve a good, good God, my friends. Verse number 3, you will trample the wicked, for they will be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day I am preparing, says Yahweh of heaven's armies. The people that all throughout our lives are wicked and evil, that have downtrodden others, that have searched after other gods, that have taken advantage of so many people, all of them will be long gone and forgotten. That on the day of the Lord, that's the way that is talked about, the millennial kingdom, the end of the age is called the day of the Lord. It's not just one specific day, unless you want to call it, if you will, one day with the Lord is as 1,000 years, as Peter says in 2 Peter 3. So the day is talking about this event. It's when God makes all things new. And on that day, there will be no more evil. There'll be no more evil in our world. There will be no more evil in you and I. And I am so looking forward to that day. So, what was the complaint that people had against God? It's useless to serve him. What does God say? You have no idea the good plans that I have for everyone that will choose to honor and serve and love me. He says there are good things planned. So it's not useless to serve God. It is so rich. And may you and I live for that coming kingdom. Thanks for tuning in today. This blessed me, and I hope that it blessed you. And looking forward to concluding Malachi next episode. And then we're going to jump over to the New Testament, to the book of Ephesians, many people's favorite book in Scripture. So looking forward to that.